going on? Welcome back to the channel. We are here at Jiu-Jitsu, so we're going to start fighting in a second. But first, in this video, we're going to talk about how to strength train with minimal equipment. All right, so very little equipment. Right now, there's been crazy ice storms here, and so a lot of people have been asking me if I'm at home, I don't have much, or if any equipment, what can I do for strength training that will still be effective? So I'm going to teach you how to do that in this video. I hope you enjoy it. If you do, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you don't already. Let's get into some jiu-jitsu.
Hey Jordan, how has jiu-jitsu been going for you lately?
You know, not gonna take too long on this section, but if you followed me for a while, you know I love jiu-jitsu. I've been doing it now for like 3.5 years, between 4 to 6 days a week, every single week. And the way I can sort of explain jiu-jitsu is sort of like trying to learn a new language. And probably the best piece of advice I got when I first started the first week was from a really great fighter named Damian Anderson. And he was like, just so you know, like the first 2 years you're gonna suck and you're not gonna know how to do anything. It's gonna feel like it's worthless, but if you can stick to it for 2 years, then on the other end you're gonna come out and you're gonna be addicted to it. And to this day, it's still the best advice I've gotten about jiu-jitsu, and it has held true 100%, except now I'm 3.5 years in and I still feel like I suck completely. There's something about it that every day you learn a little bit. It's like when you learn a language, like you learn one more word, or you learn a different way to use a word, or how to communicate just like one thing a little bit better. And then from that, you learn there's so much more that you don't know. That's what jiu-jitsu is like. You learn like one move, one technique, one principle, one system, and then from there it's like, oh my God, there's so much more that I don't know. So I'm loving it. I'm having a great time, and it's a never-ending journey. So that's it. We're good to go. We're jumping right in. Strength training with minimal equipment. Now, a couple things. At the end of this section, I will be giving you a free sample workout. Do not skip to the end. If you want to, great, but you're gonna miss all of the understanding of how I'm doing things, why I'm doing things. So if you want to create your own workout, you can do that. So that's the whole purpose of this, is not just to give you one workout you can do on your own, but also so you have the knowledge to create your own after this entire video. Also, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I like these sort of fill in the blanks because I want you to watch the whole thing. So I'm gonna fill in the blanks as I go along. Now, starting with number 1, making this very clear, this workout is about strength, not cardio. Okay, so it's about strength training and building strength, not cardio. Now, if you know me, you follow me on Instagram, which, by the way, if you don't follow me on Instagram, you should do that right here. Follow me. I talk about cardio, and specifically zone 2 cardio all the time, the importance for your health, longevity, performance, all of that. But this video is just strength, because strength is also important. It's not either or, they're both very important. Now, in terms of cardio, cardio is also relatively not easy, but simple to do without any equipment. You could go on a walk, you could jog, you could go on a bike ride, you could go swimming, all that stuff. Like, generally speaking, cardio is relatively simple to do. Strength, however, with minimal equipment, a lot of people don't know how they can adequately and effectively strength train at home with minimal equipment so they can continue to get stronger, build more muscle, improve their quality of life, improve your performance, all of that. So strength, not cardio. Now, to the smaller writing directly beneath that, generally speaking, strength is done with fewer reps and higher weight. Okay, so lower repetitions, heavier weight will build more strength, and generally speaking, higher repetitions and lower weight will build more endurance. Okay, and that's a broad generalization, but it's true. So how many repetitions are we talking about? It could be anywhere from 1 repetition, your 1 rep max, how much weight you can lift for a single rep, all the way up to about like 12 reps on the higher end for that strength building. There's arguments about that. Some people would say 6 reps, some people would say 8 or 10, but generally between 1 to 12 is anywhere in a strength building repetition range, as long as the weight is high enough. Now again, since we're working out from home and with minimal equipment, you might not have heavy enough weight. And that's part of what I'm going to talk about throughout this whole section, is how to make minimal weight essentially heavier so that maybe it doesn't increase the weight of it, but it increases the intensity. All right, so it's not necessarily about low reps, high weight. It's about lower reps, higher intensity. And if you belong to a gym or if you have a ton of weight at your disposal, great, then increasing the weight is a simple way to increase the intensity of the movement or the lift. But if you don't have a lot of weight or you don't have a ton of extra weight, how can we increase the intensity to still get the strength benefits? That's what we're gonna be talking about in this video. So you can do very simple, very basic, time-efficient strength workouts so you can continue to get stronger and improve your performance and health without needing to have access to an entire, massive, fully equipped gym. So with that in mind, number 2, this workout, this video that I'm gonna be talking about is using your body weight and with adjustable dumbbells. If you have a full rack of dumbbells, they're not adjustable, fine. But I really like adjustable dumbbells, especially when working from home. I live in an apartment, I don't have a huge amount of space. So having adjustable dumbbells that go from like 2.5 pounds all the way to 50 or 55 pounds in one pair of dumbbells is super beneficial. Now, quick anecdote on my dumbbells that I use. I wanna let you know I'm not making any commission for this. I got the pair of adjustable dumbbells that I have when I was 18. They're called Power Block dumbbells. I got them, I used to live in Massachusetts. I live in Dallas, Texas now, but I got them in a town called Framingham, Massachusetts at a gym called Gym Source. I went there when I was 18 years old and they were like $300 and I was so excited. It's the first piece of gym equipment I ever bought, and these Power Blocks, and we're gonna put some B-roll on top of the screen right now so you can see them, like they've lasted for over 10 years now. No issues whatsoever, they're super sturdy. I've dropped them, I've traveled with them all over the country. I've put them in my car, I've driven from Massachusetts to Ohio, I went from Ohio all the way to Delaware. Like I've been all over the country with these things. I've worked with them for over 10 years and they have worked incredibly, incredibly well. And they've gotten me through some really difficult times, most notably COVID. When it was during COVID and my wife and I, we were actually living in New York City at the time. We drove back to Boston. We were in an Airbnb for 5 weeks. All I had were those dumbbells and my body weight, and I got some of the best workouts in my life just using those. So when I say that you can just use your body weight and dumbbells to get amazing results, you really can. You really don't need a ton of equipment. The benefit of equipment is, there are a lot of benefits of equipment, but one of them is just variety. Right? You get so much more variety with different aspects of equipment. And I think one of the main reasons people might quit their workouts is because they get boring, they get repetitive. If you don't have a lot of extra equipment, then they're going to be repetitive. And frankly, even if you do have a lot of equipment, effective strength training is repetitive anyway. You're not gonna be doing crazy movements and doing all this insane shit if it's really effective basic strength training, which is what most people should be doing. But the less equipment you have, the less variety you're gonna have. But that doesn't make it less effective, it just might make it a little bit more boring and monotonous, which is okay, because it's still gonna work, all right? A lot of people, they get really wowed by this illusion of complexity, right? They look at movements that look complex or these pieces of equipment that look incredible or super expensive, and just because it's really expensive or it looks really fancy or difficult doesn't mean it's more effective. The cool thing about effective strength training is it's very basic, it's very simple, it's not easy, but it's very basic and it's very simple, and it follows a few basic principles of compound movements that recruit a lot of muscle in safe movement patterns. And that's really it. And we want to get you to a point where you can increase the intensity of those movements over time through progressive overload, which we've spoken about in a previous video. Right, we've spoken about that in a previous video. We talked about progressive overload?
We did.
Awesome, so we'll put the link to that video in the description of this video, just so you can learn how to progressively overload without needing to have a ton of extra weight and a ton of extra equipment. Now we're gonna go into the gym and we're gonna show you 4 different strategies that you can use to increase the intensity of very basic movements with minimal equipment, okay? I've got 4 different exercises as well. So we're gonna go through 4 different exercises and show you 4 different strategies you can use at home during a strength workout to make exercises more difficult. So if you don't have a lot of weight or any weight, you can make them more difficult and still get the strength benefits of a workout in there. All right, so now I've got my phone with me because I have my notes written on my phone, right? I'm not texting anybody, okay? So I'm gonna give you the 4 different intensity techniques you can use to make an exercise more difficult without needing to add weight. And I'm also gonna pair it with 4 different exercises that you're going to see in the sample workout that I provide you later, and exercises you should be doing for the rest of your life, okay? Now, I'm going to assign each intensity technique to one exercise, but you can assign an intensity technique to any exercise you want. I'm just gonna do it for example purposes, okay? So now the first exercise we're gonna do is a dumbbell row, and the intensity technique we're gonna use is just a simple pause. So what that means is this: if I'm just doing a regular dumbbell row, it would look like this. I start at the bottom, I go up and I go down, and there's nothing fancy to it, just continuing to go up and down. But if I don't have enough weight to make that more difficult, what I can do is I can add a pause right here, and I can hold it for 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 5 seconds, and then I come back down, and that would still be 1 rep. And when you add this pause at the top, you're having that pause at the most difficult part of the movement. It's where the muscles are the most contracted, and you are forcing them to isometrically contract to stay here so that the weight doesn't continue to go down. So from this position, you hold it. If you're a beginner, I would say hold the weight for 2 seconds. The more advanced you get, you can hold it for up to 5 seconds. There's no reason to go more than 5 seconds. So again, a pause dumbbell row, you'd be here, bring it up, hold it, 1, 2, and then come back down. I don't want you to shortchange the range of motion. I don't want you to be doing crazy technique. I just want a regular dumbbell row with a pause at the top, and then you come all the way down, right? So what that's gonna do is it's gonna increase the time under tension. It's gonna make the exercise significantly more difficult. For me personally, if I'm regularly rowing 75 pounds for 8 reps, let's say, per arm, if I'm doing a pause, it might only be like 50 pounds for 8 reps per arm. So it's a significant drop off in how much weight that I can use while still getting a significant strength benefit. Now, the next intensity technique is one of my personal favorites. It's called a 1.5 repetition. And all this means is for every full rep, you're actually adding another half rep, which makes it way more difficult. Now, the exercise we're gonna pair this with is a push-up, but again, you can pair this with any exercise you want. So a 1.5 rep is like this. If I'm just doing a regular push-up, then I'm gonna go all the way down and all the way up. But if I'm going to do a 1.5 push-up, I'm going to go all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. So again, I'm gonna go all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. So for every 1 rep, I'm adding a half rep. And so this, all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up, that's 1 repetition. So if I'm doing 3 sets of 10, it's going through that whole cycle, and it makes it way more difficult. Now, let's say you can't do a full push-up from the ground yet. No problem. If you're doing 1.5 rep push-ups, put your hands on an elevated surface like a bench, and you just do the exact same thing. All the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up, all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. So no matter where you are in your strength, you can always add this intensity technique, and you can always use it to any exercise you want, and you can adjust the exercise to fit where your strength is right now. Okay, the next intensity technique we're using is called constant tension. This is very difficult. This burns a lot. It's much more challenging than I think a lot of people give it credit for. It's a constant tension repetition, and the exercise we're gonna use to show for example purposes is a Romanian deadlift, or an RDL for short. This is one of the best exercises in the world for your glutes and your hamstrings, and I think everybody should be doing this type of an exercise. Now, a regular RDL looks like this, okay? You have the dumbbells out in front, or you could have them by your side, but I prefer generally out in front, and you're going to send your hips back, and then you're gonna come up. This is a Romanian deadlift, just a regular Romanian deadlift. But if I'm doing a constant tension Romanian deadlift, I'm actually not gonna go all the way to the top like this and hold the weight, because the whole purpose of constant tension is to keep constant tension on your muscles. And when you're in this position standing at the top, your muscles, your working muscles don't actually have any tension on them because you're fully stood out, and actually all the tension is just being held passively by your joints. So when you're doing a constant tension rep, I'm gonna go down, and right at the bottom, I'm gonna come right back up, and before I fully lock out, I'm coming back down. Up, down, up, and right before I lock out, I initiate the movement back down. I don't come here and hold it standing just sort of passively on my joints, right? Now, what's important to remember here is it doesn't mean you go fast and use shitty technique. This is still a slow and controlled movement. You just essentially eliminate the very top portion so that you don't ever give your muscles a rest. So it's actually great not only for strength, but also working the aerobic capacity of your muscles as well. It's gonna get your heart rate up for sure, and especially in a movement like this, it adds a significant amount of difficulty to it. Just as a quick aside, just to show you how you can use this with any exercise, you could do it with a push-up, right? You're here, you go constant tension. You just eliminate this lockout portion where the muscles aren't working, and you just do constant tension while using as big of a range of motion as you can without using the top of the range of motion as an opportunity to rest. Now, the last intensity technique I'm gonna show you in this video is called an emphasized eccentric or a slow eccentric, whatever you wanna call it. I also wanna clarify, there are many more intensity techniques, but I don't wanna make this video 19 hours, so I'm sticking with these 4, which also happen to be my personal favorite. Now, the emphasized eccentric, I'm gonna pair it with a goblet squat, but again, you can pair it with any exercise you want. Before I get into how to do it, I sort of want to explain what an emphasized eccentric is, and in order to do that, you have to understand the different phases of any repetition, okay? So if I am doing just a squat, for example, the lowering portion is the eccentric portion. This is the lowering portion, eccentric. In between the eccentric and the concentric, which is the raising portion, there's a brief phase of isometric. Now, like I told you in the pause intensity technique, you essentially increase the duration of that isometric, which will make it more difficult. So you have the eccentric lowering, where the muscles are lengthening. Then you have a pause, which is isometric, right? Iso staying the same. And then concentric is the muscle shortening, where it's elevating, right? So eccentric, lowering, isometric staying the same, concentric, raising. Same thing if we're doing a push-up, for example. We're gonna go eccentric, lowering, isometric, pause, concentric, raising, right? So anytime the muscles are lengthening, you're taking it through an eccentric range of motion. When the muscles are staying the same length, it's isometric, and when the muscles are contracting, that's concentric. Okay, so with that in mind, using the goblet squat with an emphasized eccentric intensity technique, you're gonna hold the dumbbell here. If you're in the inner circle, go to the exercise database, watch the technique video on how to do this properly. A normal goblet squat would look like this. A good goblet squat just looks exactly like this. But if I need more weight to make it more difficult, but I don't have that weight, I can just slow down the eccentric. I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, then come up, all right? Now the concentric stays the same speed. The eccentric, though, gets slowed down. And the eccentric, this is very, very difficult. Now, I will say, if you use this intensity technique, you can expect to be way more sore than usual. The eccentric portion of the movement is really what causes the most muscle damage and the most soreness. So actually, let's say I'm working with an athlete or an individual who doesn't want to be very sore, I will deliberately program less eccentric stress because that's really what causes the most soreness. So when you do this technique, you're going to be more sore, and that's okay, it's not bad, but just expect it. And just quickly to show you another variation, let's say you're not doing the squat, you wanna do a push-up, slow eccentric, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, come back up, right? You can do this with literally any exercise you want. These are the 4 intensity techniques. The 4 exercises I showed you should be staples in all of your workouts, and they're actually gonna be involved in the sample workout I give you later today. So now that you know those 4 different strategies to make exercises more difficult, let's look at workout structure, all right? This is very basic and it's very effective. Now, the way that I've broken it down is for strength training, it's either going to be a 2-time a week, 3-time a week, or 4-time a week training program, okay? There's really no reason to do more than that. I would like at least 2 times a week, but you don't need to do more than 4. Any more than 4 is putting a lot of stress on your body. If you are a high-level advanced lifter, you can do more than 4 times a week, but for whatever it's worth, if you're a super high-level advanced lifter, you're probably not working out with minimal equipment, okay? This is more for the everyday person who wants to get stronger without having to spend hours and hours in the gym. So looking at the 2 times a week, this is for the person who does not have a lot of time at all, needs to spend minimal time every single week in the gym just to get the benefits and get out, and the rest of the week they don't want to train, okay? So with that in mind, this would be a full body workout and a full body workout. I would like about 72 hours at least in between these workouts, okay? So maybe you do one on Monday and you do the next one on Thursday or Friday, okay? Something like that, at least about 72 hours in between these 2 workouts, because it's a full body workout, so you need a full amount of rest to recover from every body part being trained, okay? So 2 times a week, full body. You could do 3 times a week. If you do 3 times a week, I would prefer a lower body, upper body, full body split. So what that would look like is maybe you do lower body on Monday, you do upper body on Wednesday, and then full body on Friday. Now, I prefer this structure. Some people are like, well, why lower body before upper body? Generally speaking, lower body, you're gonna be more sore from it. You can use weight and more intensity from it. And I would rather that you wait significantly longer to go from lower to full as opposed to upper to full. It makes sometimes more sense to go from upper to full a couple days later, just because your upper body will often recover more quickly. The smaller muscle groups, not always, but often they do recover more quickly, whereas the bigger muscle groups take a little bit longer to recover, and it can be more difficult to train them that quickly. So 3 times a week, lower, upper, full body split. 4 times a week, I like a lower, upper split, okay? So in this case, it might be Monday would be lower body, Tuesday would be upper body, Wednesday would be a full rest, then Thursday would be lower body, and Friday would be upper body again. This is the exact split that I used during COVID when I was with my wife and we were in an Airbnb using my dumbbells and my body weight. This is the exact split that I used. Lower, upper, with 1 day of rest in between, and then I would have the weekends off as well, and that's when I would do my cardio and stuff. This is also, for whatever it's worth, the 3 and 4 times a week sessions. This is how my inner circle is structured. So regardless of what equipment you have access to, we have a 3 times a week workout and we have a 4 times a week workout that is already in there every single month. We have a brand new planned comprehensive training program that you can adjust to your needs and what you have available at home. We also have a dumbbell only workout that is also 3 times a week or 4 times a week options as well. This, for me, the 3 or 4 times a week are the most effective over the long term. You can see great results with 2 times a week, but I think you see the best results somewhere between the 3 and 4 times a week. All right, so we've made it to the final part, the sample workout. This is the fun stuff. What we have to do now is we're going to erase the board and I'm gonna write the brand new workout on there. But actually, I'm gonna do something pretty cool with this. I'm going to make this happen in about half of a second, all right? So 1, 2, 3. Oh my God, did that work? Holy shit, that worked. Okay, all right, that's awesome. We're just gonna keep rolling with it. I didn't think that was gonna work. All right, so we've got your lower body workout and we've got your upper body workouts. These are just samples, okay? Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna walk you through each workout. I'm gonna explain the workout, also show you the intensifiers, which we spoke about earlier, and then we're gonna put some B-roll footage of me actually doing the exercises on top of it so that we don't triple the length of the video and you get everything you need right here. So we're gonna start with the lower body workout, okay? Now, the first thing in this workout is a paused goblet squat. Now, like we spoke about earlier, using a pause is an intensifying technique, right? When I pause at the bottom of this goblet squat, it's going to make it more difficult than if I was just doing consecutive repetitions without this pause, right? So pause goblet squat for 3 sets of 8 repetitions. So I mean, I don't know about you, but if you're doing a pause goblet squat with like a 50-pound dumbbell, that's really difficult. Like that's gonna be very challenging. So I would start with lightweight, start with your body weight if you need to, and then you can go to 10 pounds and then 15 and 20 and so on and so forth until you find 3 sets of 8 is very, very difficult. If it's not difficult enough, you can make the pause longer. I would say make the pause up to about 5 seconds. You don't need to go longer than 5 seconds, but at first make it 1 to 2 seconds. And then rather than increasing weight, you could increase the time of the pause to make it more intense technique, okay? I would say generally about 2 to 3 minutes rest in between these sets. Next, you're gonna go into a Romanian deadlift, all right? I just did the abbreviation RDL because it would have been super long. That's what she said. Anyway, 3 sets of 10 Romanian deadlifts. There's no specific intensifier here with this one, but let's say you don't have enough weight and you want to make it more difficult, you could slow it down, use the emphasized eccentric here, or you could use a pause or do the 1.5 reps or do the constant tension reps, whichever one you want. Specifically with Romanian deadlifts, I like the slow eccentric. You're really gonna feel it in your hamstrings. 3 sets of 10, again, about 2 to 3 minutes rest in between these sets. Then we're gonna go into what's called a superset. So we're gonna go back and forth, 3A, 3B. You do 1 set of the reverse lunge, and then you do 1 set of the single leg plank, and you go back and forth for 3 total sets. For the reverse lunge, 3 sets of 12. Then for the single leg plank, you do 3 sets of 15 seconds per leg. Just so you know, the single leg plank is fucking difficult. This is really hard. If you think 3 sets of 15 seconds per leg is easy, odds are it's not that the exercise is easy, it's that your technique is shit. So make sure you're looking at the B-roll of this, you're watching the technique, making sure you're doing it properly. I have a whole bunch of technique videos. If you're in the inner circle, we have technique videos on this, so you know you're doing it properly. Go in the exercise video database in your app or on the members portal website, and you'll find exactly how to do this to make sure you're doing it properly. But for the reverse lunge, again, you could use any intensifier you want. You could do the slow eccentric, you could do the 1.5, you could do the constant tension, or you could do the pause reps. If you do a pause rep at the bottom of a reverse lunge, that's really difficult. That sucks. I call those Dementor lunges. Anyway, after you're done with 3 sets of these, actually I'll say in between these, I would take about 30 seconds to 1 minute rest in between each of these. And then after you're done with the second one, I would take at least a full 2 minutes rest before you start over again, okay? So you would do 1 set of reverse lunge for 12 reps per leg. Then you would take about 30 seconds to a minute rest. Then you do your single leg plank. Then you'd take about 2 minutes rest before you start over again for 3 total sets. And then at the end, I would just finish this off with about 20 minutes of zone 2 cardio. You might be able to tell I actually erased. I had 30 minutes there prior, and I was like, you know what? This is a beginner workout. We'll start off with 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the lowest amount of time I would recommend for zone 2, but if you wanted to go up to 30 or 40 or 45, whatever, you're welcome to do that, but I would say at least 20 minutes at the end of this. And this whole workout should take you about like anywhere between 45 to 60 minutes maximum, all right? Now, let's go into the upper body workout. Actually, Mitch, I think I'm gonna go to this side. Is that probably better? Yeah, Mitch gave me the thumbs up. Mitch is the man, by the way. If you don't follow Mitch, you can do that right here. He's fucking awesome. Absolutely amazing. We are going to start off with the slow eccentric push-up. Now, I made this 5x5. I also made the next exercise 5 sets as well. Generally speaking, the upper body can handle more volume, more sets than the lower body. The central nervous system as well can as well when it's upper body as opposed to lower body. I'm not gonna get into that here, but 5x5 slow eccentric push-up. This is very difficult. This is very, very, very challenging. And let's say, for example, you can see how I have the slow eccentric, the intensifier here, but let's say you can't do a full push-up from the floor. No problem. You could just elevate your hands onto a bench or onto another surface, onto a countertop, onto a sofa, whatever you want to make the push-up more doable for you. The point here is great technique with whatever variation you're using, and a slow eccentric all the way from the top all the way to the bottom, and then you complete the push-up for 5 sets of 5 reps. I would take at least 2 minutes in between sets here. This is gonna take a little bit of time, but it's super beneficial for upper body pushing strength and improving your core strength as well. Because if you think about it, a push-up is just a dynamic plank. Now, someone's calling me. I don't know, it's an unknown number. We're gonna keep going. Next, we have pause dumbbell row. Okay, now again, it's a pause technique. So at the top of the dumbbell row, you're gonna pause at the top of that movement. Again, if you wanna pause for 1 second at the beginning, great. If you wanna hold the pause for up to 5 seconds, that's a way to make this intensity technique more intense, right? So you're gonna do 5 sets of 8 per arm. Just as a general aside, I like to try and match pushing with pulling, right? So if I'm doing 5 sets of pushing, I don't want to then do 3 sets of pulling. I would like to try and match it to even it out. A lot of times people will do so much more pushing. I call them the mirror muscles, right? Your chest, the front deltoids, your arms. People do the movements they can see in the mirror and they neglect their back. And that can often lead to postural issues and many, many things of the sort. So I like to try and make the pushing and pulling somewhat even. So pause dumbbell row for 5 sets of 8 per arm, okay? And again, taking about 2 minutes rest in between each set here. Then we're gonna go into the first superset. Generally speaking, you're gonna have more sets in an upper body workout than you will a lower body workout because there are more smaller muscle groups to work. So the first superset is a 1.5 dumbbell shoulder press. This is a personal favorite of mine. Now this is the 1.5 rep like we spoke about earlier. So for the shoulder press, what you would do is you'd start at the bottom, you would go all the way up, then you'd come halfway down, then you'd come all the way up again and go all the way down. That counts as 1 rep, okay? So you're gonna do 3 sets of 10 for that, and then you're going to rest about 30 seconds to 1 minute before you go into the next exercise in the superset, which is constant tension rear delt raises. These are very, very challenging. You don't need a lot of weight for this. A lot of people would be fine just using water bottles, to be honest with you. If you can use 5, 10, 15, 20 pounds, congrats, because that's pretty damn strong. You're gonna do 3 sets of 12 with these, and the intensity technique here is the constant tension, right? So there's no rest, there's no letting your muscles relax, constant tension on the muscles throughout this entire movement. You're gonna go back and forth. You're gonna take about 2 minutes rest after the constant tension rear delt raise before you go back into the first set, or the first exercise, excuse me, of the 1.5 dumbbell shoulder press. Once you're done with both of those, you're gonna go to the last superset of the day. This is an arm superset. So we're starting off with dumbbell hammer curls, 2 sets of 15. If you love training your arms, you're welcome to make that 3 sets, but I just know I'm trying to keep this under about 45 to 50 minutes for this workout. So if you want to add more, you're welcome to, but I wouldn't do more than 3 sets. So 2 sets of 15 per arm. And then you can also then you wait about 30 seconds, go into dumbbell skull crushers for 2 sets of 15 as well. If you want, you can either increase the weight if you don't have a lot of extra weight. You can use any intensity technique you want with any of these exercises. So even though the dumbbell hammer curl it doesn't have a specific intensity technique to it. It doesn't say slow eccentric, it doesn't say 1.5, it doesn't say constant tension. If you need to, you're more than welcome to add that on your own, right? So for the dumbbell hammer curl, you're just like, you know what, I don't have enough weight to make this difficult, cool, then make the eccentric very slow. Boom, other one comes up, then make the eccentric very slow. You can add that on your own. It's 100% up to you, and that's actually one of the major points that I wanted to get across in this video is I want you to have the knowledge to implement these intensity techniques on your own. So if you don't have a lot of equipment, you don't have a lot of weight, you feel comfortable saying, I could add a slow eccentric, I could add a pause, I could add constant tension, I could add 1.5 reps to literally any fucking exercise you want to make it more difficult, increase the intensity so you can continue to get stronger without necessarily needing to put more weight on yourself. All right? If you have any questions, let me know. Now, with all that said and done, we are gonna get to announce the Inner Circle winners from this video. If you don't know, if you're new here, every single video I announce 3 new people to win a free month in my Inner Circle. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, like the video, and leave a relevant comment. From there, I will pick 3 new people every single video to win a free month in the Inner Circle. Let's go announce those from last video right now. All right, so the 3 people who won a free month in the Inner Circle are, and by the way, if I mispronounce your name or username, I apologize in advance. We've got Cheglik, we've got Carla Seymour, and we've got Maria Ralcheva. I have left you all instructions in your comment on how to take advantage of your free month. I am very excited to see you in the Inner Circle. And now we're gonna answer the 2 Instagram questions, which by the way, if you're new to the channel, you can follow me on Instagram here. Every single video, we answer 2 questions from Instagram. We're gonna get into that right now. All right, so for the first question we're gonna answer, this is actually coming from a previous YouTube video of mine, and it's a really good and worthwhile comment to address, okay? So it's from Kendra Markworth. Thank you for putting this comment here, Kendra. Basically, Kendra said, I'm pretty sure I can say with confidence that the quadruple bypass burger from the Heart Attack Grill is objectively a bad food. And the reason Kendra left this comment is because I have an entire video explaining why there are no good foods and bad foods. And it was the beginning of how to develop a healthy relationship with food. It was that video. So if you wanna watch that video, we'll put the link in the description of this video. But first, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read you the ingredients of the quadruple bypass burger from the Heart Attack Grill, and then we're gonna discuss. First, I'm gonna give sort of like a little cheeky, nitpicky response. I'm gonna discuss more of the real important concept to understand with really why there is no good and bad food. So first and foremost, the quadruple bypass burger, straight from Google, is a 9,982 calorie burger that consists of 4 half-pound beef patties, 20 strips of bacon, 8 slices of American cheese, a whole tomato, and half an onion served in a bun coated with lard. Okay, and this is again from the Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas, Nevada. Very, very, very famous. Now, the first like little cheeky response that I have, and more like nitpicky, is Kendra, I believe that was her name. Kendra said that this is objectively a bad food. And when I look at this, it's not even cheeky. It's just nitpicky. The quadruple bypass burger is not a food. It is many different types of food, right? So we've got beef patties, we've got bacon, we've got cheese, we've got tomato, we've got a bun, we've got lard. There's so many things involved in this. So which one of it is bad? Is it the beef that's bad? Is it the tomato that's bad? Is it the cheese that's bad? Is it the butter that's bad? Because all of these different foods that make up the burger can actually be used in a very, very healthy diet. All of them. All of them can be included as part of a healthy diet. So if your immediate response is, well, it's not any one of those ingredients, it's all of them put together, well, then you're immediately saying that there's no such thing as a good or bad food. You're saying it's the quantity. It's the quantity of it at any one time, which really goes to the phrase of it's the dose that determines the poison, right? It's not that there's just like that beef is bad for you, or that cheese is bad for you, or that tomatoes are bad for you, or onion is bad for you, or that butter is inherently bad for you. People can live very long, healthy, happy lives, and they can all have great effects on your health if you have them in appropriate portions. It's about how much you're having. This is really, really, really important to understand. Now, with that in mind and sort of along the same lines, let's get to the more like real important thing to understand here. Health is not determined by a single meal, right? It's not determined by what you eat today. For example, let's say you're super unhealthy. You're a smoker, you drink all the time, you don't exercise, and then you went out for lunch and you had a great salad, right? Grilled chicken breast, tomatoes, fresh vegetables, like you have a great big salad. Are you all of a sudden healthier now because of that? Has your blood work changed because of that salad? No. That one salad does not all of a sudden make you healthier. If you did that over the course of a month, 2 months, 3 months, you started to improve your diet, then yes, of course, your blood work would improve, your health markers would improve, absolutely. But that one salad does not all of a sudden make you healthy or healthier. In the same way that having this quadruple bypass burger would not make you unhealthy immediately. Like for example, I consider myself very healthy, thank God, my blood work is good, overall health is good, blood pressure is good, cholesterol is good, all that, thank God, right? If I went to Las Vegas and I went to the Heart Attack Grill and I got this burger, if we looked at my blood work, it would not all of a sudden go from healthy to unhealthy. I would not all of a sudden be immediately an unhealthy person just because I had that almost 10,000 calorie burger. And it definitely wouldn't be that if I included any of these foods sporadically throughout my diet, because I include all of those foods intermittently within my own nutrition. But if I had that one burger, I would not all of a sudden be unhealthy. And this is what's really important to understand. Health is not determined by any single individual food, by any single individual meal, by any single day, or even really by any single week. Your health is determined by what you do consistently over a long period of time, and also other factors as well, like genetics and other things too. But the factors that you have control over are not factors that happen like this. It's things that take a long period of time. It's sort of like the meme that I'm sure you've all seen where, you know, you see someone who goes to the gym, a young kid or whatever, who's like chubby. He goes to the gym on his first day and he picks up his shirt to look at his abs and like he doesn't have abs after that one workout. It's like, yeah, of course, because it takes a long time in order to actually see those physical results. Same thing. If you're going to make physical changes to your health, it takes a long time. It's not any one individual food or ingredient or meal that's gonna make that change. So Kendra, I appreciate you writing that. I think it was really important, and I hope that you understand as well that the quadruple bypass burger is not objectively a bad food, because again, it's not a food, it's multiple foods put together. And also because any effect on your health takes a long time of consistent practice in order to actually have real meaningful health impacts, either positively or negatively. All right, next question. This is from Instagram, and it's from DPRDanet3. This is gonna set me the fuck off, all right? They said, did you see the doctor on the gram saying we should not eat vegetables, they are poison? All right, I'm about to go the fuck off. First and foremost, yes, I've seen this. I've seen multiple doctors saying this. And I put doctor in quotes, not because they aren't a doctor. They might very well have their doctorate, but the doctor that I'm thinking of specifically is not a doctor of nutrition. They are not a registered nutritionist. They're not a dietitian. They're actually a psychologist, and they just put doctor in their fucking profile to make it seem like they have a more authority, right? Which people do fall for. So number one, just because someone's a doctor doesn't mean they know what the fuck they're talking about. And even if they are a doctor in their specific field, listen, there are lawyers who are really good. There are lawyers who suck. There are police officers who are great at their job, and there are police officers who suck. There are personal trainers who are amazing, and there are personal trainers who suck. There are professors in school who are incredible and professors who suck. Just because someone has certain credentials does not mean they're fucking good or know what they're talking about or have your best interests at heart, all right? So please keep that in mind. Now, to the topic at hand, in terms of actual vegetables being poison, are you fucking kidding me? And I'm not saying this to you, the person who asked, I'm saying to every person out there who is putting out content saying that vegetables are poisonous and dangerous and you shouldn't be eating them. What the fuck is wrong with you? Seriously, you've got something wrong in the head because you know that's not true. If vegetables were legitimately poisonous, how the fuck did we end up here? How in the world did we end up in 2023 when all of our ancestors have eaten vegetables? If they were poisonous, do you know what poison does to you? To say that it's poison is so stupid and fear-mongering and nonsense and a piece of shit thing to do. So no, vegetables are not poisonous. They're not bad for you. Every controlled trial over the long term has showed us that people who eat more vegetables on a regular basis are healthier people and live longer lives. You should be eating vegetables. Now, let's say you've got some type of a health condition, IBS, any other condition that prevents you from maybe eating raw vegetables or maybe even cooked vegetables. You discuss that with your doctor, right? Talk about that with your doctor. Come up with a plan that's gonna work best for you. But for otherwise healthy people who are not struggling with a medical condition, please eat vegetables without thinking you're poisoning yourself. I can't believe that this is a real conversation that we're having in 2023. When I first got in the fitness industry, it was like everyone knew you should be eating fruits and vegetables. Everyone knew that they were good for you. It was just common knowledge. The idea that people are now coming out and making content saying, plants have these defense chemicals that you shouldn't be eating because they're poisonous. Are you fucking stupid? That's a ridiculous question. Of course you're stupid. I can't believe you're saying that. It is one of the dumbest things in the last decade that we have seen in the fitness industry, and it sucks that people are being manipulated and lied to and have all this fear-mongering nonsense to make people think that vegetables are bad for them. They're amazing. Eat more of them. They're incredible. They're good for your health. And one thing, candidly, that I'm very worried about is all of the people who are eliminating vegetables from their diet, who are not eating them anymore and saying, oh my God, it's so great. I am quite frankly petrified that in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, we're gonna see unbelievable amounts of early death, sickness, and many other terrible things to come because of what they've done to themselves. I'm petrified, and I don't wish that on anyone. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. I'm just letting you know, just because someone takes vegetables out of their diet for 6 months and they lose a lot of weight doesn't mean that that was a good idea for their health. Please keep this in mind and look at the preponderance of research telling us that vegetables are good for you. You should be including them in your nutrition, and never mind the actual research, just common sense. What have we done for our entire existence as human beings? We eat plants, we eat vegetables, we eat fruits. They're good for us. For the love of God, ignore anyone who makes you think otherwise, please. All right, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. If you want to win a free month in the Inner Circle in the next video, leave a comment as well relevant to this video. And also, if you found it helpful, it would mean a lot if you could share it on your social media, on your Instagram, in your stories, to friends, family, whatever. The more you share, the more it actually really does help the channel. And I just appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.